So my name is Arome Ibrahim. I am the Executive Director of Immersive Tech Africa, and I'll be sharing insights on what is immersive technologies, its impact, and the potential to transform several industries across Africa. So in terms of the agenda for today's session, I'll be talking about the state of tech in Africa, and next is the Africa XR ecosystem, and then we'll move on to like an overview of what immersive technology is. I know a lot of you have those questions. And next up is some use cases of the tech. So what is Africa doing with some of these new and emerging technologies? And then I'll share a detailed information on how we are empowering African youths to build with such technologies. Some of them have started a career already and are making tremendous impact. And then I'll round up with a closing remark. So like I mentioned earlier, my name is Arome Ibrahim. My journey into XR started in 2018-2019, when I attended a Facebook event. So as at then, it was Facebook event in Abuja. And I would say I bumped into VR like love at first sight. So seeing a new tech, I was amazed on the immense possibilities of what it can do. And I remember when I had the VR headset over my face, and I was teleported from Abuja to India. So I was in Abuja, but virtually I was in India without going to the airport. Right? It's super amazing. But I remember telling my friends that this technology is here to stay, and as Africans, we need to start building with it. And I'm very, very passionate about what's possible with it. Alongside my team at Immersive Tech Africa, we are very big on training at least 1,000 creators on the continent to start a career in XR, and if possible, start earning from it, because tech is immense, it's huge, but what are we doing as personal individuals, as talents to leverage on it? We have been talking about AI since yesterday, not just AI, but there's VR, there's AR, there's IoT, and there are other forms of tech. But I personally feel you need to find what you are passionate about and plug in technology into it. Africa is rising. Africa is the next digital frontier, and according to research, the continent is blessed with millions of people, millions of young talents that are ready for the future. And also, we have a very, very youthful population and a very rising middle class, and also an increase in access to technology. A speaker mentioned yesterday that when Africa got started with innovative technology, we leapfrogged some stages. When mobile devices came out, we did not start with, like, our full adoption was not landlines. We skipped it and went into mobile devices. And now we have mobile money banking and some forms of telecommunications. But for me, I would say we have done a lot of work in the startup ecosystem. A lot of money have gone here and there. A huge impact has been made. We have also done a lot of work in mobile technology, fintech, but now it's AI. It's the time for AI, it's the time for XR, and I think we need to really key into it as much as we can. The two earlier speakers mentioned what he's doing with AI for medicine, and I feel he's onto something unique, something amazing, and it's just a matter of time. That product will go big scale, and if you really want to invest in it, I think now is the right time to do that. So like I said earlier, Africa is blessed, and according to research, we are in a very, very big gold mine. Google estimates that Africa sits on a 180 billion internet economy future. 180 billion, right? And according to research also, Africa has the world's youngest and fastest growing population or urban workforce. Basically saying that the emerging talents on the continent, most of them are in the urban areas, and most of them are innovating. Some of them are software developers, software engineers, and they are building something. And also it is estimated that the African internet economy has the potential to increase or add 5.2% of the entire continent's GDP, which can also contribute to the $180 billion internet economy. So like I said, our urban population is growing, our youths are energetic, they are ready to build, and I feel we just need access to opportunities, we need access to resources, and an ecosystem that is supportive. I was talking about government support yesterday because it's very, very important. Building an EdTech startup in Abuja and going to maybe the universal basic education to get access to these schools, because we know that they need virtual reality in the classroom, they need augmented reality in the classroom, but having access to these schools has been difficult over the years. And most of us have piloted towards private schools because they are more receptive and more energetic to new technologies. So you might be wondering, what is the state of the African XR ecosystem? So like I mentioned earlier, when I started off with VR and AR, which I will share more details on what it is, I did not have access to mentors, I did not have access to talents, I did not have access to the resources. And over the years, the ecosystem has been growing, communities have been emerging across Africa, and we have been able to come together to put a report, which was supported by Meta, and it was released in 2022, which documented what is happening in the VR AR ecosystem in Africa. If you can just go to the africaxrreport.com, you have a full detail of what the report is about, some of the challenges that developers are facing currently on the continent. But from the research, we're able to see that XR is innovating, and its application has spread across art, entertainment, gaming, education, and also brand advertising. So these are the sectors that are using the technology to innovate, to engage potential clients, and also make impact. For freelancers, we also noticed that some of their key sectors where they are innovating in are education, entertainment, art and culture, and most importantly, gaming. Gaming is going to be the next big thing in Africa, and I advise parents that have kids to allow their kids to explore what is possible with gaming, because if you don't get into it early, catching up at the tail end might be difficult, and who knows, you might be housing the next big e-gaming professional in Africa. So I'll be giving an overview of what immersive technology is. I've been talking about immersive technology. So from my own understanding, immersive technology is the fusion of digital mediums. So you have virtual reality, which is virtual. You have augmented reality, which augments your environment. Mixed reality, more like a mix of virtual and augmented reality. And then you have other forms of new emerging tech like spatial computing and artificial intelligence. So all this refers to a range of technologies that create or extend reality by allowing you as users to be in a virtual environment that looks like it's real. Right? So when you're wearing a VR headset, you are in a computer-generated environment that tells your brain that this is real. That's why if you notice most people that wear VR headsets, most of them are shouting, they are going crazy. It's because their brain is telling them that this is real, and it's telling their body, you need to run, or you need to shout, or do something crazy. Right? So it's an innovative tech that immerses you in a virtual environment that feels like it is real, but it's not really real. So the first form of immersive technology is virtual reality. So virtual and then reality. And basically it is a term used to refer to technology which enables interaction with digital worlds. So you're interacting with 3D models, 3D assets that are digital. And also users are placed in a simulated environment. So these environments are 3D generated, they can be modified. We can create a virtual environment of this entire space, and it will look like it's actually real. And for you to engage with this technology, you need to use a VR headset. So we have various forms of VR headsets, as you can see below there. Most of them are a bit pricey, but the immersion in it is super amazing. I've been in experiences whereby I took off the headset and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Right? And for those that want to exercise, you could actually go on, you can actually cycle in VR. So you can be on your bicycle and it will be attached with some sensors. When you're pedaling in a virtual environment, and you can be pedaling in the United States and still be in Nigeria, still be in your sitting room, peddling, right? So those are some of the potentials of the tech. The second point is augmented reality. Augmented reality. So it basically works with your environment. And AR basically gives you the experience of enjoying 3D models within your space. So unlike virtual reality that you need to use a VR headset, for AR, all you just need to use is your mobile device, your tablet, or your iPad, right? So with your mobile device, you are projecting, using your camera, a 3D model onto your environment. And this is super good for schools, for students, whereby we can project like a human skeleton in this environment. A good example is if you go on Google and search for a lion, just type lion on Google. If you go down a bit, you see a 3D model of a lion. If you click on it, you can actually project a lion, a 3D lion in your own environment. Right? So you can show your kids at home a 3D lion in your own space. For some of them, they only see lions in textbooks and drawing books. But with AR, possibilities are endless. The third form of immersive technology is mixed reality. So I've talked about virtual reality, augmented reality, and now mixed reality. So mixed reality, as the name goes, mixed, combines the power of VR and AR to provide you immersive experiences that are digitalized within your environment. A good example is the Microsoft HoloLens. So what this does is it has cameras at the front of the lens that captures your environment and now superimposes a 3D model within that space. So you can basically interact with the model in real time. You can expand it, you can click on it within your space. Right? So those are some of the possibilities of mixed reality. And I know for the last two years, maybe from 2020, a lot of you have been hearing about the Metaverse. Meta's transforming from Facebook to Meta more or less relates to the Metaverse. And Mark Zuckerberg is very big on the term, the Metaverse, because he believes that the next form of internet is going to be immersive. It's not going to be 2D anymore, but more or less 3D. And with your system, with your phone, you can teleport yourself to a space whereby if you are in Nigeria and you want to have a physical meeting with somebody in America, you guys can do that in a virtual environment where you are in your avatar, the person is in his or her own avatar, and both of you are engaging and interacting like it's a physical meeting. And the possibilities of the Metaverse is endless. You can shop in the Metaverse. You can, most people have found love in the Metaverse. So they got married in the Metaverse. You can do a lot of stuff in this space. And it's more or less like the digital version of the Earth. So Earth 2.0, if I must say. And the goal is now, how can we as Africans tell our own metaverse, digitize our own metaverse? And I feel we can only do that by plugging in what is unique about Africans. So our art, our culture, ideas and samples of some of our foods for people to come into Africa if they cannot physically leave their environments. And the last form of the tech, just like we have AI, the new big thing, for us in the immersive technology space, it's called spatial computing. And this term, just like the Metaverse by Meta, right? Spatial computing is being driven by Apple. Apple recently released the Apple Vision Pro, which is more or less their own form of entering into the virtual reality space. And the uniqueness of this headset is, even though it's quite expensive, close to $3,500, it allows you to do a lot of things. You can have multiple screens of your laptop within the space. So for those that are into maybe financial banking, data analytics, they could have multiple versions of their screens. So imagine I put a screen here using the headset. I could go out and come back and still meet that same screen there, pinned to the surface of this environment. So you could put like digital galleries within your house, and maybe when visitors come around, you just give them the headset and they see your galleries and your artworks on display. They are there permanently as long as you have the VR headset. So spatial computing is amazing, and plugging it in with AI, it's going to be awesome. You could have like an AI co-pilot within the space, like the lady mentioned earlier, telling you maybe what's the weather condition. If you want to practice your presentation, you could do that. And like I said, possibilities of these technologies are endless. So, what is Africa doing? What are we doing at the moment with VR and AR? I'll be sharing some amazing use cases that I know of, and a couple of them that I have also worked with. The first one would be the MTN Yellowverse. So MTN Nigeria in 2022 wanted to go big in emerging technologies like VR and AI. And together with a team, they were able to build the first virtual metaverse on the continent. So imagine you could go to the MTN headquarters in Lagos, but using your laptop or using your VR headset, and you could have a customer service agent attending to you in real time in a virtual environment. You could see some of their 3D modems, 4G modems. You could pick them up, engage with it, and know if you really want to buy it or not. So the goal for MTN is how they can engage their customers who cannot come to their offices physically, but they can do it in the virtual environment. The second key use case is by Nedbank. So Nedbank is a South African commercial bank, and they were able to go into the metaverse because they wanted to engage with their customers, just like MTN. And they created a virtual world whereby for those that have queries, those that have questions, they could go there using their laptops or PC, go there as an avatar, and talk to the bank representative or anybody that is in the virtual world and addresses some of their questions. And the third key point is, or the third key use cases is called Africa Rare. Africa Rare is more like the Facebook of the metaverse. So you have a virtual environment, you could create your own house, you could customize it, you can share the link and invite other people to come. Right? So it's more or less like the metaverse, the Facebook of Africa. And their goal is to focus on the application of cryptocurrency and also e-commerce. Another key use case is in education. I'm very big on what's possible with VR and AR for education. And there's this company called Sisanda Tech. They are based in South Africa. And it noticed that, especially in STEM education, students are not really energized when they are studying such subject matters. And what they did was to take some key subjects like biology, chemistry, physics, and digitize some of these subject matters. If you can see, there's the human heart there, and using your mobile phone, you can scan a QR code on a textbook, and you see a human heart in 3D in your own environment. So with this kind of technology, students can learn better in the classroom. They can remember better because what you see, you remember faster, and they can also recall some of the key components of the subject matter that they see. So for us, it's not just empowering students, but also how teachers themselves can teach our students better using emerging technologies. The second one is called StanLab. I mentioned this example yesterday during my panel session. And StanLab is a Nigerian company, Nigerian startup, that is focused on seeing how they can support schools that might not have a well-equipped science lab to be able to undertake chemistry practicals using virtual reality. So what they are doing is for schools that have maybe access to laptops, or for parents that have access to mobile devices, their kids can undertake chemistry practicals using their devices. So you can titrate in a virtual world, you can fail, try again and perfect it before you now go to the exam hall and take a chemistry exam. For me, if this was available when I was in school, I feel I would have done well in my chemistry examination. right? Because titration is very tricky. You have to do it over and over again to make sure you get the right color and the right sample. The next one is in TVET, so basically vocational education and training. I always have this theory that the mechanic on the roadside is more educated and more informed than somebody that goes to a school to study mechanical engineering, because they are doing it every day, practicalizing what they are learning every day. And I feel using VR, we can document some of these processes. For example, mechanical engineering activities can now be done in a virtual environment that is controlled. You can import models that are not readily available in your environment. So imagine a mechanical engineering lab in our federal schools having VR headsets that cannot really afford to buy some very sophisticated equipment. We can create a 3D version of that equipment and import it in that virtual world, and those students can learn better using this technology. So this was a use case in Uganda. Their goal also was to see how they can energize students to learn some vocational and educational skills using virtual reality. I'm very excited about this one because I feel even though Africa has been termed as a consumer of technology, we are also innovators. And I'm excited to say that we have the first VR headset that is built in Africa by Africans. And this was by Eden. They are based in South Africa. And their goal is to see how they can support kids that are in the hospital and they are in their, or they have like terminal illnesses. So for those that are super sick and maybe they have a very short lifespan, they want to see how they can give them life through virtual experiences. So for most of you guys, or for me also in particular, hospitals can be very boring, especially for kids. So with this headset, it is easy to use. You don't need to have a strap over your head. The kids can enjoy gamified experiences and see how life can look like in a different sphere. And they can also have friends, virtual friends that they can interact with, share their experiences and problems, and who knows, they can get better and also recover from their illnesses. So they are based in South Africa, and they created the first VR headset that is made in Africa. I think after that, this is also exciting. Most people say VR is for young people, but who knows, VR is also for old people, for our seniors, right? And I'm glad that it has been deployed successfully in Nigeria by my very good friend, Kunle Adewale. So he is a creative at heart, and he found out that if you go to some of these old seniors' home, most of them are more or less not energetic, they are not excited, they're a bit dull. And what he did was to gather some VR headsets, and together with some developers, he went back to download old movies, old songs from the 70s, 80s that our seniors are used to, and created a VR environment whereby they can engage with those experiences as if they were there when it's being recorded or when it's being produced. So imagine somebody of 80, 90 wearing a VR headset and dancing, super excited because they can now relive some of their experiences that the youth might not understand. They can engage with content that is going out of fashion. So with VR, we can document our past and share it for our kids that are coming up to see how our lives have been lived and the amazing experiences that we have had living in this era. Another key use cases I would say is art and culture. I feel we are moving super fast that we are losing touch with our languages. We are losing touch with our foods. Most of our kids might not even be able to relive what it feels like to be a typical Nigerian, a typical Hausa man, Igbo, Yoruba. And with VR, we can digitize some of these assets. If you can see there, you can see the 3D artwork of a Benin bronze head. So if you read in the news, the British government recently, the British and German, if I'm correct, they recently returned back some artifacts for the Benin Kingdom, and they have been using this over the years. So giving us access to this heritage is very important. It's more or less like our identity. But with VR, we can create digital replicas of these artifacts. Even though the original copy goes bad or is broken or is lost, we have a digital lifelike replica, and we can use it to create virtual museums, virtual experiences for our kids. Right? For some of them that cannot physically go to Benin City, they can do that using virtual reality and learn about the Benin history and culture. There's a company based in Ethiopia that is doing something similar. They have so far partnered with Google to digitize some of the Ethiopian art, culture, and heritage, making it available for people to come and experience using VR. This is also very interesting. I think some years back, especially with the whole insecurity in the Northeast, a lot of people did not know what is really happening in that part of Nigeria. And a friend of mine, Joel, he's a filmmaker, so he does filmmaking using normal cameras and other related devices. But he wanted to tell the issue of northern Nigeria and the insurgency in a unique way, whereby you can have that feeling that you are there. You are in the Northeast, you are in Chibok, and with the girls that were also kidnapped. So what he did was to go there using a 360 VR camera. So a 360 VR camera is a unique camera that has two lenses. One part is 180, the other part is 180. And when you capture an image, you are capturing a 360-degree image. So instead of your normal picture that you take, with a 360 image, you can pan around. If I take a picture here, I can pan around and see everybody's faces and see in detail. So what he did was to capture the entire experience of what the women are undergoing in Chibok and created a VR film from it. So when you wear the VR headset, you are actually in a video, and it will look like you are in the, maybe for example, the hut of one of the women there. It's like you are sitting down on a chair in the hut, and the woman is talking to you. It's like super immersive and engaging. And the feedback from this project is he was able to give access to international INGOs to understand what is really happening in the Northeast in real time. And the project won a very important award at a very famous film festival. So it's more or less a recognition of what's possible with VR. In terms of e-commerce, I know a lot of us are very good with Jumia, Konga, and the rest. But imagine if you wanted to buy a wristwatch, but you want to see how that wristwatch would look like before you buy. I know that would be cool, right? So the application of VR and AR in e-commerce is immense. There's a company called Telo. They are based in Lagos, Nigeria. They are into furniture making. And they wanted to give their target users an opportunity to test their furnitures in their environment. So for example, I want to buy this chair. Instead of me maybe waiting for the chair to come, I might not like the color, I might not like how it looks like in my sitting room. Using the application, I could project the chair in my sitting room and adjust it to make sure it is what I want, to make sure that the color is what I want, the size is okay. If I don't like the legs, I can change it. So they are basically giving users the opportunity to create their own products in a unique way, to create their own experiences. So when they are receiving it, it's perfect and there's no flaw. So I believe if the e-commerce sector can adopt some of these technologies, it's going to be amazing. And it will not look like what I got is not what I ordered, right? And moving on to the final chapter of my presentation, I'll be talking about how we are empowering talents to build VR and AR experiences. Like I mentioned earlier, when I started off my journey, access to hardware was a problem, access to mentors was a problem. But over the years, I've been able to build a very good network. It's an amazing team. We have been able to get access to both local and international mentors that are willing to support Africans to learn how to build this content. So we're not just consuming, we're also building our own experiences at Immersive Tech Africa. So we launched an NGO. The goal is to focus on 2 key emerging tech, extended reality and now AI, through education, research, and also seeing how we can foster an inclusive tech community on the continent. So since 2021, we have been growing. We have presence and members across Senegal, Ethiopia, Morocco, Togo, and still growing. We are Pan-African, so we are very big on the African dream. And so far, we have close to 1,000+ members on our community. We have launched close to 4+ XR-related projects. So XR is called Extended Reality. And we have close to 15+ team members that are spread across Africa, and they are very passionate about training and empowerment. We have 2 key programs. The first one is the XR Innovation Summit, which is our virtual conference, whereby we come together every year virtually to understand what's happening in emerging technologies, what can we do better as Africans, what are some of the new products and services that we have built here in Africa, and also how can we inspire the next generation of content creators. We have been doing this since 2021. We have had close to 2,000 people that have joined these sessions virtually, and we have close to 40+ speakers that have spoken. The first picture there is a picture of my mentor, Jeremy. So Jeremy is the head of PwC UK, head of Immersive Technologies at PwC. And in the middle is Benson, the project I shared earlier about the Chibok girl. And the third one is Judith. So Judith is more or less like the mother of XR in Nigeria, because she has supported a lot of people to get started. She supported me when I was starting to get started with VR and AR. So we invite experts to share what they are doing and to inspire talents to get started too. Apart from the virtual conference, we also have a training program. It's called the XR Innovation Launchpad. It's a more or less 10 weeks hands-on training program. So we train people that have zero knowledge on VR to build 1 or 2 VR experiences in 10 weeks. And for those that are not really interested in coding, they can build no-code VR experiences. So if your Instagram filter, your TikTok filter, they are all augmented reality experiences, and you can do them yourself. Trust me, we have people doing that at the moment. The training is currently ongoing. We have close to 100 participants that signed up for the current cohort, and we'll be having our graduation ceremony in Abuja on the 12th of October. You all are invited. You can come and see some of the projects that have been done, and we also have award prizes for the best 3 projects. We have a very ambitious goal to train at least 1,000 creators by 2028, and to see how those creators are making an impact, giving back to the community, and also earning some money from emerging technologies. These are some pictures from our first edition in 2021. This was in Ventures Park, if you know Ventures Park in Abuja. So this was our first go at VR and AR training, and it was good to have people around. Some of them wore VR headsets, and some of them were able to build no-code experiences during that training engagement. But it was really exciting because it was our first go at VR AR training, and the turnout was amazing. So this was in 2022. We did it upstairs, Aspire Hub. So we wanted to continue the training and impact activities we were doing. But this time around, we focused on seeing how we can have more ladies into XR, because we notice the space is mostly dominated by the male folks. So we tried as much as possible to push people to register, females to register. Some of them did not have access to laptops. When they came around, they were able to pair with people that have access to laptops, and some of them were able to build projects. So this was the last edition, not the current one, but the previous one. And we also did it at Inspire Hub. Why this is special is we wanted to have kids involved. We wanted to have kids involved. So I've done the first part, which is preaching what's possible with VR. The second part is making sure we have a gender-balanced ecosystem. Now the third part is how can we get our young folks involved as early as possible. And it was very exciting to see that some parents, we had 3 parents that came around with their kids. In the picture, the middle picture at the down part of the slide is a girl called Goodness. Her mother brought her there specifically because she wanted her to learn how to build with VR and AR. And she's currently in our training. She's learning how to do that herself. And she's just energetic. She always asks questions during sessions. And it's very nice to see how a young child is really excited about technology the right way, and how her parents are supporting her to get started. So, thank you all for listening. Before I round up, I would love to say that I am glad to have found this tech. I'm glad to be part of a team that is really excited about what's possible with this technology. I'm also glad to be African, irrespective of the challenges we have in infrastructure, in funding, in support. We are making things happen. We are doing stuff our own way. And I'm excited that VR is here to stay. AI is here to stay. But we are building it as Africans. We are building it our own way. And I believe the journey has just started. And it's just a matter of time that we'll be breaking limits. We'll be breaking boundaries. And Africa will have a voice when it comes to emerging technologies globally. Thank you so much. Questions? Feedback? Yes, please.
All right, thank you so much for your presentation. Well done.
Thank you.
I just want to encourage you not to give up, because looking at the response from schools, I know it's very, very discouraging.
Yeah.
It's very, very discouraging, and I would still advise, still go back to the Minister of Education. That's for the government school. Private, they will accept you, that I know. Sure. Because if we go back to our institutions using these realities, trust me, it will go a long way in helping and shaping the mind of the students. Yeah. Because sometimes it is what you see that you tend to do more and know more and act more. The problem we are having in the education system is because in those days we were taught computer, but you never saw the computer, right? Our coordinator, she was talking about Fortran and all of those Kobo. Way back, you know, now you're talking about Python, right? Because some people came on board and brought up something that we're able to see live. And going back to the education, please don't give up. And whatever it will take, even for our boss here that can support, you know, let him do that for us. Because I know we are entering a new dimension in the society right now that we cannot go back. The truth of the matter is that some people will fall by the wayside. True. Yeah, but we need to move ahead. Education is key. The practical aspect of it is very, very important. Yeah. So please don't give up. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, before this presentation of yours, I thought VR and XR are all about gaming. Yeah. So I thought it just encompasses gaming. So now I realize that there are a lot of opportunities. I am currently in the computer science department by University Kano, and I see that, okay, almost all the projects that students submit, none, I cannot remember one project that has to do with VR, AR, or XR. So does that mean that the technology isn't yet that accepted or widely known or explored, or is that it's too much like hard for our students to get into? So that's why they are not taking it as a kind of project or something like that. I cannot recall any single project that comes with VR, AR, or XR. So what can you say about this?
Thank you so much for the question. I would say that is one of the reasons why we created Immersive Tech Africa, because accessibility and knowledge of this tech is limited. It's not everybody that knows what VR is. You just learned about the differences right now. So for us, we are on a mission to preach and make an impact with the tech. And also with time, we would see students deploying projects and experiences with it. I don't know for up north, but down south, especially Lagos and the likes, students are working on projects related to VR. I know a particular student that did his undergraduate project related to augmented reality for engineering. And recently, there was a research grant that was awarded to a professor in Lagos, Eugene, a very good friend of mine. And he was given close to around 200 million naira to undertake a research on how we can create empathy among students, irrespective of their backgrounds, how they can have that empathy in the classroom to understand their challenges, their problems that affects their learning processes. So what he's doing now is he's creating his own virtual experience with African-related avatars. You are not seeing any white face. You are seeing an African. You are seeing an African student in a virtual environment. And he's actually going to schools across some states in Nigeria, Lagos, and I think Abuja also. So he goes to those schools with close to 50 or 100 VR headsets, and those students can now understand what it means to be immersed in a virtual environment, some of the challenges that they are facing, and give feedback to Eugene, which is a professor, that will now inform research on how this technology can be used for good, right? But I believe with some of our programs like the XR Innovation Launchpad, it would be great if we can extend that also to your institution in Kano. It would be good to have maybe students for the next edition. The next edition is focused on developers. This one is focused on creatives. So photographers, those teachers, those that are into creative education and technologies, this is for them. For developers, we would love to partner with you guys to have those students on board. And trust me, when they are done, they want to work on their thesis using VR and AR. Thank you.
Very much. Good afternoon. My name is Nafisa Hassan. So I love your presentation. In fact, I think I'm going to enroll my son into this XR Launchpad. So, you know, like you said, VR, we need the VR handset, where for augmented reality, you can just use your mobile phone. I would have thought augmented reality is easier, but I noticed that your Launchpad was tilted towards virtual reality. Why?
Okay, sorry. The Launchpad is actually focused towards virtual and augmented reality, but our focus for almost 6 to 8 sessions in the program is focused on AR, because most people cannot afford a VR headset. $300, $500 is expensive, but everybody has a mobile phone. Everybody has a laptop. So some of the experiences we are building are more or less filters, augmented reality experiences that they can enjoy and experience using their mobile devices. For those that want to build like a full-scale career in it, they need to venture into VR, because that is where it is more immersive and more engaging. And for them, they will need to have a very good system to build with it. So one of the things we noticed or we implemented is when we sent out the call for applications, we made sure applicants indicate the model of their laptop and the specifications. So we'll know how many people have very good systems to build with VR and how many have average laptops to build with AR. And from the feedback, we're able to tailor some of the programs towards AR so everybody can learn and create something. Thank you.
My name is Musa Migari Musa. I'm working at Federal Medical Center Group. So as you have displayed one of your projects on VR that they are used in pediatric, at least to motivate them, if they have a short lifespan.
Yes.
So what of other area? Are you carrying out projects like those people with a mental, psychological problem? At least I can help them to cope up with their condition. Also likewise in their rehabilitation exercise.
Thank you so much for that very good question. Just like for the seniors that I shared, it's also possible for those that are mentally ill. I think when I started off my digital agency, so when I graduated, I worked with a home here in Abuja that was rehabilitating people that were abusive on drugs and all. And their focus was also how they can use emerging technologies to support these people. And I say it's possible because with VR, it's like you're in a very calm environment. There's no disturbances. There's no troubles. And it's more like meditation. So if you wear the VR headset, there's a very calm song that is playing, and I feel that can help them to be more calm because now they're in a space whereby they can control, right, and they can call their own. And it would be great to see how we can work together, if possible, to maybe pilot some VR experiences for the personnel there. We have access to some VR headsets, so it's possible we can work on something together. But not just for the mentally ill sector, but also for the medical space. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a sister that is studying medicine, and she spends a lot of time physically going to the training hospital or the specialist hospitals to learn. So imagine she could do some of that physical activities in VR, whereby she can practicalize some of those procedures, learn how to find the vein in the human arm instead of just puncturing. I have a friend that her hands were punctured several times because they were trying to look for a vein, right? Exactly. So imagine they could do that in a virtual space, perfect it before going physically to the wards, and save my friend's arm from being punctured several times. Yeah, so the applications are possible. We have some prototypes that we can show you of how some doctors can measure like the different sounds in the human chest, your heart, your lungs, and understand which is which, and then perfect it in the coming future. Thank you.
Hello, good day. Hi.
Hi.
Your topic today really made me think about a lot of things regarding virtual reality. So this question might come off a bit strange, but I still want to just put it out there. Since it's virtual reality and you could be somewhere, you could be at a place and be anywhere in the world, do you think that VR will ever get to a point where you could communicate with a deceased person, maybe to find out their cause of death? I mean, like, I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I'm thinking virtual reality. Will it ever get to a point like that, something like that, that you could find out the exact cause of death, time, not just going through tests, you know, with the whole medical steps, or how police do their routine. Like, if someone should communicate with people at any time and anywhere, can virtual reality ever get to that point?
It is here already.
It is here already?
Yes, it
Wow.
is, but in a different form. Not maybe determining like the cause of death per se, but I'll give you a scenario where maybe a person A has a very close relative, and that relative that relative, for example, has an iPhone, maybe an iPhone 14, 15, and they were taking a lot of videos. So there's what they call spatial video recording on the iPhone, where you can take depth-like experiences. So I'm taking a video of myself, but it's in-depth. So using some of those videos, you could create an experience whereby it would be like you're communicating with the person in real life, right? Because they have captured themselves in detail, and you can superimpose those experiences using VR. You can do that with the Apple Vision Pro, which is more or less spatial computing. But possibilities are endless. People propose to each other in VR. People go on dates in VR. People date in VR. It's possible, but you need to find a way to digitize some of those experiences. But I feel in terms of having actual time of death, cost of death, that might be limited at the moment. But what you can do with this tech is endless. You can, maybe somebody loses maybe a parent or so, they can have like digital recordings of their parents and have a safe space where they can engage with it and reconnect with them instead of having nightmares or dreams or every possible crying. So it's more or less like a consolation, more or less like if I had an opportunity to engage with my late dad in VR, that would be really amazing, because I have a lot of questions that I really want to ask him and all. And I would say the possibilities of this tech are indeed endless. Thank you so much. And I love your ideas. They are great. Okay, I think that's... Thank you so much.